Evening, everybody. All right, so I'm reading the Bible, and I'm 2 chapters away from finishing the first 3 books. Yes, check. So I came across a verse I wanted to share with you because the more I'm doing this, I'm being able to connect what I know in a cultural sense from Hawaiian cultural perspective and seeing how it relates to the Bible, and I can see the connections, and I want to share what I'm realizing with you. So this verse comes from Leviticus 25:23, and it says, "The land must never be sold on a permanent basis, for the land belongs to me." That's God talking to you. "You are only foreigners and tenant farmers working for me." Now, this is actually when God's talking to the Israelites back in all that time before they actually got to Israel. They were still at the base of Mount Sinai. Is that how you pronounce it? Anyways, so what God was telling them was Aloha Aina. That's what God was telling them. This is exactly what Aloha Aina means. Now, in the footnotes on the bottom, it goes in a little bit more detail of what it was talking about. And it says, if you have the attitude that you're taking care of the Lord's property, you will make what you have more available to others. This is difficult to do if you have an attitude of ownership. Think of yourself as a manager of all that is under your care, not as an owner. Now, in Aloha Aina, first of all, aloha, we all know what aloha means. And if you don't, then it's just more of this feeling and a relationship between each other, between you and the elements around you. And you get the definition of love because of that relationship. So it's kind of hard to actually put like an English translation to it. But then you have the word Aina, and Aina means that which feeds. Generically, we're talking about a land, but it's not just the land that provides life. You have, yes, the land, you have the dirt, you have the water, the fresh water, you have the plants itself, you have all the fruit that these plants produce. But then you have this wind that's blowing through, fluttering the plant behind me. That's where Haloa Nakalau Kapalili comes from. Haloa is the kalo, our primary crop in Hawaiian culture. Nakalau Kapalili, and that whole phrase, I think I got it correctly, it refers to the fluttering of the lau, the leaves of the kalo, by the wind that's blowing through. So it's also bringing attention to the elements that surrounds the wind that comes through, the sunlight that comes down, the clouds, and the moisture that provides then turns into the ua, the rain that falls, that only creates this cycle of life. Aina, that which feeds. So it's a lot bigger and a lot more grand and vast than just Aloha Aina. I'm gonna plant kalo and I'm going to harvest kalo, or I'm going to mow the lawn, or I'm going to pull weeds. It's a lot more grand than that. And even speaking with Kumumanu Meyer in one of our previous Aloha Authentic episodes, check it out, it's actually on Aloha Aina. She had shared previous to the phrase Aloha Aina, it actually was Aina Aloha. The love that you have for the land, and vice versa. The more you love the land, the more the land will then love you. But it all comes from the attitude that you don't own it. The moment you think you own it, you have a whole different perspective to it. But if your attitude, if it's God's land, or if you don't believe in God, just the elements, or whoever you do believe in, whatever you believe in, that the land belongs to them or to him or to her or whoever that is, you're still going to have this sense of respect and this sense of obedience because you're trying to care at the most holiest level that you know of. That's Aloha Aina. And to find it in the Bible, that is so cool. All right, guys, I'll leave that on your social media feed for your positivity. Have a blessed rest of your day. Shoots.